Mishmash! Kitbash Corner!
Hey, today we're doing yet another Kitbash for my Sons of Medusa army. Of course, the first episode I ended up doing for this ongoing series was a Dreadnought conversion. However, my appetite cannot be satiated with just one Dreadnought, so today I'm building a super fluffy Dreadnought that is exclusive to the Sons of Medusa. This being the ancient venerable Dreadnought. Disclosure, yes, this video is titled TECHMARINE Dreadnought, but it's not 1,000,000% canon. I am adding a little bit of my own fluff to it, but come on, this is gonna be sweet. But before we get into all that kit bashing goodness, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, share it with a friend, hype the video if you're on mobile, and if you really dig it, consider becoming a channel member. For just $3 a month, you get to see my videos early, and for $5, you get access to a weekly Q&A stream, in which I'll showcase your models. You also get to see what I'm working on during these streams, and you get exclusive roles and channels within the Mishmash Discord. And above everything else, it just helps a guy do his dream job. Huge thank you to my channel members. You guys are amazing. And if you want to help support the channel even further, make sure to hit those affiliate links in the description to Wargames Atlantic, Galiri, and Golden Maple. And don't be afraid to use those discount codes. Save some money on those toys. But enough of the promotional stuff. I kind of want to do a little lore dive, just to give a little background. So for those unfamiliar with how the Sons of Medusa operates, they are a very weird chapter, hence why I'm kind of obsessed with them. Much like their predecessors, the Iron Hands, the Sons of Medusa operate as war clans. And as a result, the chapter does not have a singular chapter master, rather 3 different leaders of each war clan, these being Iron Thanes. Besides the typical chain of command, Iron Thanes essentially have a council of sorts. These guys are unofficial, and that's where the venerable Dreadnoughts and TECHMARINE sit. These councils are referred to as Chamber Ferrum, and these councils are the key to the chapter's unbreakable pragmatism, as not only do they serve as advisors for the Iron Thanes, but are also responsible for keeping tabs on the chapter's production line. This, of course, being the essential forges for keeping their clans stocked, as well as the apothecarium. And it's because of this level of tight-knit organization and efficiency, along with their fervor towards serving the Imperium, that the Sons of Medusa are allowed to still exist. If you're not familiar, these guys follow a very illegal religion. But if I'm being true to myself, the main reason I wanted to do this kit bash is this singular image. This being Venerable Ancient Khalid. If this doesn't look like a TECHMARINE Dreadnought to you, I don't know what else to say. He's red, and, well, he doesn't have a servo arm, but that's what we're gonna do today. Also, for some reason the Sons of Medusa TECHMARINEs just have the same color scheme but have the red in the corners, so this is my way of implementing it into the army. But without further ado, kinda gone over the reason why, I think it's about time we actually get to the kit bashing. So to begin working on the actual Dreadnought, I ended up using one from the original Black Reach set. Finding an original Dreadnought, that costs a pretty penny. And though these guys are by technicality venerable Dreadnoughts, I wanted to make him look a little bit more like the typical classic Dreadnought, as depicted in the image. The first thing I ended up trying to do was drill in little magnets into the arm pegs so I could make it customizable like my previous Dreadnought. However, this push fit has a much thinner plastic piece, so I can't simply just add on new arms like I could with the other one by just simply dry fitting. I had to learn the hard way that the magnets were not strong enough to keep the actual arms in place, so I just decided to bite the bullet and glue on some regular arms. The first one I decided to do to spice things up was the Chain Fist from the Ironclad Dreadnought. This is one of my favorite pieces for Dreadnought bits. And yes, I definitely want to add an Ironclad to the actual army, however, it's a similar case with the classic Dreadnought. It costs a lot to get one. For a second arm, I decided to use an autocannon. However, you'll see here that I struggled to glue this on because the arm peg was so thin that it didn't fit into place. So I ended up having to add in a little bit of extra glue. But in the meantime, I decided, since I had an open place, that I was going to slice off the decorative elements of the original Dreadnought. Though I'm not going for 100% accuracy with the original image, I did want to place that huge Mechanicus logo on the right side, so the symbol had to go. I hope this footage stresses the shit out of you, because cutting towards yourself is actually quite a lot safer with an X-Acto knife in my experience. It's just about handling it properly. You have a lot more control over the knife pulling it towards yourself than away. However, despite this took a lot of effort to get rid of. And I really had to be diligent about my slicing, as I really didn't want to nick any of the cables on the side of the sarcophagus. As you can guess, this took quite a bit of time to finally whittle down to a point where it was mostly flat. But I didn't stop there. I ended up using my sander to really smooth things out. And this actually took a couple of goes. I first used a very high grit sander to get the ball rolling. This is mostly just to thin things out. After a good few minutes of sanding it down, I then switched to a low grit sander. This was to really get rid of all the bigger chunks. I then go over once more with the high grit, and though it does end up still appearing on the plastic, once we ended up painting it, it will fade away. Off camera, I ended up actually using just a touch of Tamiya to really smooth it down. This kind of made it conform better to the plastic, and above everything else, the decal will go entirely over the symbol anyway. Once I was satisfied with that, I would then begin gluing all the pieces onto the Dreadnought. Firstly, by officially attaching the feet to the base. The base being the base of the Dreadnought. I then glue the base of the Dreadnought to the base. This bit sucks. Anyway, I ended up using a little bit of thin cork to build up the base so I could actually have him stand next to my other Dreadnought. If you remember earlier in the series, I actually used my last Dreadnought base for the attack bike, so I ended up using the original push-fit base. Might have noticed there's actual little slots in the base itself, so I ended up fitting in some magnets. Hey, something's gotta be magnetized on this thing. After which I would then glue on the autocannon, and to fit on another little piece of customization, I ended up using one of the tack lights from the Blood Angel's Apothecary. I had a couple extra laying around, and to make them look a little bit more techy, it was a simple fix. I ended up using the previous light on one of my Centurions anyway, so I thought this would be kind of a fun way to spice it up. I know this is essentially adding in mayo and calling it spice, but I don't care, it looks cool. Right now he's looking pretty spiffy in my opinion. However, I decided to actually add on one of the sidearms in the form of the Stormbolter. And yeah, I still haven't figured out what weapon option I'm using for my previous Dreadnought, but odds are it'll be another Stormbolter. But now that we have the vanilla customization done, I think it's about time we actually make this guy look like a TECHMARINE Dreadnought. And to do so, I ended up breaking out some very odd bits. Well, one in particular. This skill crane arm comes from one of my Battletech minis, this being the construction battle mech. Think if somebody just made a crane into a battle mech. But the size of the piece is pretty perfect for a Dreadnought, and I slotted it rather snugly into the side of the main portion of the power pack. This was a pain in the ass to glue, as is most metal bits, but once it was in place, I was quite happy with it. With the quality of the pewter as well as the actual design, it feels right at home, not too dissimilar from the other metal customizable bits you used to get. But once he was built up, I decided it was time for painting. To start this guy out, I ended up spraying him over using burnt red and then bold pyrrole red from Proracryl. If I really wanted to go lore accurate with the original image, I probably should have stuck to the burnt red, but I didn't quite care for the finish, so I decided to give it a little extra brightness. Plus, my color scheme for the Sons of Medusa is all but lore accurate. But I'm still keeping consistent by going with Clan Majera. Most of the canonical endeavors that we see of the Sons of Medusa are typically from the Atropos clan, but I like the cool snakehead. But in between adding in the cool decals, I decided to just paint all the black in one go. This took quite a bit of time, but it was worth it in the end. And off camera, I ended up painting the knee pad using the classic Sons of Medusa green. Once I added the decal for the symbol on the knee, I then painted over the entirety of the main armor using my same mixture I've used with the rest of the army. It's of course being my guilty pleasure paint, Dark Rust Wash from AK Interactive. Some might call it a crutch, I don't care, it looks awesome. And though I probably should have used more of a black wash on the red rather than the green, it was just easier to paint the entire thing. Who cares, looks sick as hell either way. After it dried, I then began adding in a little bit of white spirit, and I would wipe away the excess. However, I would be a little bit more conservative this time around, as some of the Marines I ended up painting during the time of working on this army ended up having varying amounts of dirtiness added to their armor, and as a result, some of the greens end up looking totally different by comparison. I didn't want to make this guy look too different from the rest of the army, so I had to make sure the green on the actual leg was correct. But once everything was wiped away, I was pretty happy with the result. The flat panels look nice and bold, and all the corners are wonderfully dirtied up. After that, I then began painting all the tubes on the chassis, and at first I went a little excessive with the brighter colors. But once I found a nice happy medium, I also ended up painting one with the classic hazard stripe. I'd be a fool not to. But after having fun with all the other little bits, I then began highlighting up the model and not going too far with it, mostly just focusing on the brighter edges. For this, I ended up using some bright orange from Pro-Acryl, and it really made the red stand out. But once I was happy with all the highlights, I then based the model, and I'd call this guy done. I love this thing. I've been really wanting to work on this thing for a while, and I was almost tempted for the first Dreadnought to be this design, but this design kinda limits me to one specific kitbash, so I thought it would be fun to do both. I love how nicely he stands out from the rest of the army, but I'm really happy with how simple the actual kitbashing was. Sure, all the different bits came from different models and kits, but if we're being honest, the two main bits that really make this thing stand out are the apothecary lamp and the Battletech bit. It was really cool using a bit outside of 40k for a kitbash. It's been a long time since I've done that, and I personally think it fits right in. But I have plenty more stuff to work on for this army before Adepticon, and I have some very interesting units planned. However, I know plenty of you want to see more weird niche chapters, so don't worry. I think next video we're going to end up tackling something a little different. But don't be shy to leave any weird niche chapters for me to work on. I need suggestions. And of course, suggestions for what I should work on next for this army. But I think I've definitely been flapping my beak enough for one video. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, share with a friend, and remember to mishmash, kitbash, and paint some fantastic miniatures. And you're gonna. I promise. See ya.